everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm Christopher Dahl. Hey, welcome to Friday afternoon and Space Art Live. My apologies, we weren't on last week, but we are on this week. And welcome aboard. We're going to have a nice Friday afternoon for everyone. We got Edward here. Hello, Edward. Jean-Marc, I'm so sorry that you have meetings on Friday. You know how I feel about that, so I'll do what I can, okay? That's very important. Hey, welcome aboard. If you like the stream, please hit the like button. I appreciate it, and it's always helpful if you want to subscribe. You'll be notified whenever new live streams come up and new videos, which I keep saying are on the way. Hey, welcome back to the studio. We are here in beautiful rural Pennsylvania. Awesome, and we have a nice day here. Check this out. There's the doorway over there out into the world, as it were. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Glad you could all be here. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. And big extra thank you to everybody because today I just found out that my channel is now eligible for review to become a YouTube partner. Yay! Hey, that's pretty exciting. We took a break from Twitch, which is what I started on, and I kind of rebuilt everything from scratch here on the YouTube channel last summer, I believe, and yeah, like around July or August or so. So this is really exciting because with the partner program, I'm going to be able to pull some of the things back in we had over on Twitch, like the emojis, yay! And no, some other good stuff. Basically means I'll be able to monetize the channel, and we're going to have more fun, which is really where we wanted to go with this. I'm thrilled. It kind of surprised me. I was watching the stats religiously for about 3 months, going, "Oh, we're almost there. We're like this close. We're almost this close." And I finally said, "I forget it. I'm not going to worry about it." So that's the important lesson to learn here. Just say, forget about hair in the face. Don't worry about the stats. I think it's the first time I looked at them in weeks, and sure enough, it was just like, hey, by the way, you're here. So anyhow, welcome aboard, and we are going to have a Friday afternoon of space art. Let's kick off some music, as always. We're going to pop this one on. There we go. Oh, that's the wrong one. We can't do that. Nope, there we go. We're going to do that one. Okay, very cool. Let me know if the music is too loud, not loud enough, any of the above, and we will work with it and make sure we're all here. I've got my screen off to the left of me. I'm in a little different position than usual. Hey, Rhonda, how you doing today? Good to see you. Hello. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Let me move one window out of here, okay? I gotta move one little thing. Hang on. Because technical things are always, always important. I'm just going to put that back up in there. Where am I going to put that? Where am I going to put this damn thing? I'll stick it over here. I don't care. Okay. Anyhow, Rhonda. Hey, greetings. How you doing on a Friday? Very, very important. It is probably a little too loud. We'll see. Anyhow, I'm over here on the bench today. I'm over here on the workbench because I just thought, I haven't built a model in a long time, and I know everyone likes this, so we're gonna kick it off. And just for you, Rhonda, I picked an orange flavored ship, so warm colors when we eventually get to painting it. Oh, holy crap! There we go. Yay! Desktop audio. There we are, right there. Cool. Very good. Yeah, so the cool thing about this model, I wanted to build this for so long. I got this actually at Wonderfest last year, but the kit's been out for a while. And I feel like it's one of the models I almost missed out on. Like, I was this close from completely missing out on this kit. Fortunately, things changed, and we go from there. When do we get our emojis? Oh, yes, okay. Hey, Andrew and Wes are here. Hello. So the emojis. I've been eligible. I'm now eligible for the partner program. So I put in. They require you to just hit a couple of check boxes, make sure everything's in order, and it now goes to review. You need your red check. I know, right? Listen, the minute it clears, the minute this review clears, I will be putting in all. I'll get our space frogs. I'll get our red checks. And hopefully the animated ones too. I have all of them ready to go. Sorry, a little sniffly here. Uh, I am, that's the one thing. It was kind of bumming me out that I didn't really have any of that stuff. I really feel like, as minor as that seems, it really kind of makes the live stream, you know? So I'm pretty excited. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks they'll get back to me. I I'm guessing there's probably not much of a human review going on. It's probably all automated. Who knows? But yeah, and this, yes, star flicking, very important. Andrew says, "Cool kid," and Wes says, "I love the hawk." I I could not believe it. Anyway, before I get to the kit, yes. So emojis will be coming up. There, there's two stages of the partner program. The very first, I get some of the community features like emojis and all that, and then the next level, they'll be throwing ads. So, um, ads, good for me, not so great for the experience. I'll have to manage how the ads happen in the live stream. So I'm investigating that now. But as it grows, there's a very good possibility that it'll be throwing the occasional pre-roll ads and all of that stuff. But I'll roll it in so it's not as intrusive. We have our ways, believe me. The drink today, by the way, yes, we just have a cola from a company that I won't mention its name because they're not paying me. So screw them. It's a good cola. So anyway, alrighty, yes, to the kit. To the Hawk. I've always loved this ship. It was in the show Space 1999. In fact, I have a smaller one. Usually with live streams, you only see the ads at the beginning. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Rhonda. I couldn't remember. So I remember Twitch. Twitch was terrible about it. If you weren't a subscriber, like a paid subscriber on a Twitch channel, it would they just like blast you with ads. It's unwatchable. Hang tight. I'm gonna go grab something real quick. I completely forgot to get my demo. God, the hair's got to go. Sorry. Yes. Anyhow. Yeah, Cola Inc. Exactly. So this is the ship, right? This is a oh, it's really getting blasted out in the light here. Sorry. There we go. This is the ship, and the Mark 9 Hawk. It only appears in one episode of Space 1999, and the idea was it's supposed to be another human spacecraft that was being, well, it was an illusion, right? Spoiler alert. It was intended to be the bad guy for the episode. So a bunch of these things show up and just blast Moonbase Alpha to bits. And great episode. It's probably my favorite episode. When I saw it, when I first came out, I was like, what the heck is going on? It's pretty cool. So this one was created, this is a model that was made by the MPC Fundimensions here in the States, and it was also co-released by the Airfix Corporation worldwide, Europe, and so forth. I had two of these when I was much younger, and they didn't look nearly this good. I'll be honest with you. I managed to get a copy of the older kit on eBay years ago, but what's really fun about it is, unlike the Space 1999 Eagle that the Moonbase Alphans used, they decided to paint this one a little differently so that you'd be able to identify what it is, and that's why you ended up with these great orange markings on it. It's pretty cool. Fundimensions, I forgot about them, right? The MPC Fundimensions. This particular model was pretty cool to do. I made a bunch of additions to it. I added a lot of extra detail that was not on the kit. And then I ran a sheet of custom decals that I just printed. It might be blowing out in the light here a little bit, but I feel like I did a pretty good job. Ooh, this decal's bubbling up. Oh no! I feel like I did a pretty good job on this model, and I like it. But okay, it's tiny. So anyway, I'm gonna set that aside for a moment. With those colors, it looks like one of those fire drop tankers, right? Exactly. It kind of does. It looks like some kind of a service vessel, right? I dig it. I really do. So, fast forward to years later, when all of us sci-fi geeks grew up, including the ones over here at well, this one says MPC on it. That's just the MPC doesn't actually exist anymore. This is where's your logo? Come on, JB, where's your damn logo? What? No way. Oh, we okay. I give them a lot. I give them a lot of credit. They have a little Round 2 logo. This is by Round 2 Corporation, and thanks to Jamie Hood and his crew there, they've been putting out some amazing science fiction kits, and they're really good models too, which is really great. So why would I get this if I already have this one? Well, I'll give you the first hint will be that the box is bigger. Oh, I missed someone here. Forgive me. Where? Socrates the cab driver. Greetings, Socrates the cab driver. We'll go to 44th Street. Thank you very much. No, probably not a New York cab driver. I love it. Okay, let's just see where we're at here. Am I blasting out the speaker there? Okay, sorry. So, let's open this up here. There's probably about 5 times as many individual parts. The instructions, very important. Oh, we've got a decal sheet. So I can ignore those later. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Let's just dive in, shall we, kids? Oh yes. Okay. I mean, this is really belaboring the point, right? So I'm not going to do that. But I think you'll be able to see. So this is basically the size difference. This is a much bigger kit. Also, there are some the original model was like close to what they had on the show. This one was they actually had photos of the original studio models. The people in charge, Martin Bauer, and I think Martin Bauer built this. Martin Bauer's one of the more famous model makers in the British line of TV shows. And oh, my little rocket launcher-y thing came up. What scale's the kit? Oh, let me see here. What did they say the scale was on this one? Let me check. You know, honestly, Wes, this one might be box scale. I'm not sure. It is unstated. My personal guess would be that this is 1/72nd scale. Let me see here. Where's the piece here? So a human, maybe it's a little bit bigger than one. Maybe it's 1/48. I'm not sure. Does it even have it on here? Hey, good question, Wes. I'm gonna have to track that down now. But what's really cool is, and I do want to show this bird. Oh, it's got some clear parts. The Round 2 stand. It actually is really cool. It's a nice little dome. But what you get on here is I'm going to tell you, usually you get a model kit. It's a cardboard box with maybe a painting on the cover. These folks have been going all out. These are photos of the built model, but they've posed them and lit them to match special effects shots from Space 1999. So like this was a very famous shot. Famous in the realm of people who have seen Space 1999. Old geek here. Oh, there's a 72nd scale Hawk on Amazon. The box looks different. Oh, you know what, Wes? I'll bet that they did. So they did do this size as well. So they did this kit in a smaller version. There's two sizes of this. I'll bet that's the smaller one. That would be my guess. This particular one is more like 144, I think. I can't remember exactly. But, oh, also on the box, this is where they, I know it's going to be hard to see. So this is where they have all the paint and decal notes. And it's on, you basically get color ortho views of the model, and this is really nice, folks. Especially when you have tons of details. There's a lot of decals on this. That's pretty cool. Let's see. The top of the box actually has. So here we go. Here's photos from the show, and now that's pretty close to what they did here. And then some on the side. Yeah, there's no markings on the box here of the scale. MPC 94712, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Looking at the details here. Nope, wait. Oh, there are some credits on here. Ship design. Okay, it was designed by Brian Johnson. It says right here. Model based on work by E. James Small. E. James Small has done a lot of Space 1999 garage kits. He's a big Space 1999 fan. Daniel Prudhomme and Charles Adams. Charles Adams, I think, is still in jail, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that they finally caught up with him. No, I'm kidding. I know Charles Adams. He's a really nice guy. Charles, if you're watching, I was giving you shit. Sorry. Pictured models professionally built and photographed by E. James Small. No, James Small does good work. I followed him for years. Okay. It is. I'm going to declare this kit boxed scale. Oh, okay. The round 2 website says it's 48 scale. Okay, cool. Thank you. That was just a guess. My my nerd superpowers have preceded me. But yeah, there's a lot of details on this thing. This is like a bag of Greeblies. There we go. Official term. You'll be tested later on some of these notes. Greebles or Greeblies. I've heard both. Got called out by a sub nerd on Facebook once for using the wrong word, Greebles or Greeblies. And I said, look, pal, I've been a nerd a lot longer than you, and I've heard both. I've heard both from people that have actually built this shit for movies. No, anyway. Hey, Iridium, how you doing today? Welcome aboard. Hey, we're here for Friday. Yes. All right. Oh, and some clear bits. That's all cool too. The only thing about these big models, I'm going to run out of space. Bag of Greeblies. You know, if you were the kind of person that wanted to kit bash your own ships, this is actually a pretty darn good model to keep in your storage. Because there's some really great details on here. In fact, we'll be reviewing some of the Greeblies in this, because this model, when they built these models for the shows, they would build a shape and then they would just attach model kit parts. And I happen to know, in fact, I can see one right here. you can recognize some of the details as model kit parts. It's hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna move these out of the way. Let's get going. So why the Hawk kit? I haven't talked about the Hawk. Or any of that stuff. Ba-da-da-da-da. But I felt this is a good contender because I could just build it and we can paint it after the major assemblies are done. There's no interior you have to really work with unless I make my own, which would be, you know, I might do that. I might make my own. I'm not sure. I would definitely want a bigger scale. Oh man, you know, this thing's pretty good size. After you get the engine attached to it, it's, you know, well, let's see. I've got my thing on here. This would probably be about 15 or 16 inches overall. But let's all get self-righteous about a made-up word. Right. So I call him a sub-nerd, right? Completely useless to me. Argue with me, will you? Damn it. I saw Star Wars in the theater, for God's sakes. All right, let's get some of these things cut out here. Just because I'm damn curious, right? All right. I'm gonna get my trusty. These aren't even my usual model shears, but I'm gonna pull them out anyway. I'm just gonna grab some of this stuff. I leave a little bit of. I like to leave a little bit of plastic. Ooh, that one got pretty close. Yeah, let's turn that bad boy around, shall we? There we go. Yeah. All right, there we go. We must release the Hawk. Release the Hawk. Getting this thing out of this is actually, as I'm looking at this is a damn nice piece of work here is what this is. Holy crap. Da-da-da. Now, I've seen a few of these built up in the contest at Wonderfest, and honestly, I just kept looking at it going, that's good. But a bigger, so Wes, how big of a scale would you like to see this? Because honestly, I think the actual studio scale, like what they actually used in the show, it's like twice this size, maybe? Anyway, let me separate this from here, and I can continue that discussion. My camera's really blowing this out. Let me see if I can't. There we go. Let me take some of that edge off there. Yeah, there we go. Da 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 da. This is the thing about building models. Some of this is actually boring as snot to watch, but you know, we'll get there. This one I'm gonna do right here. So Wes, you probably know some of the history of this model, don't you? The ones they built for the show. Holy crap, that's terrible. Okay, let me grab my. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the butt. All right, we'll do it anyway. Let me get a few of these nubs off here without distorting the plastic. Bum, bum, bum. Pretty big screw holes here. I think 148's a great scale, right? Oh my god, yeah, me too. I think this is a really good size for this model. Now don't get me wrong, like you, I've been tempted to recreate the studio model of this, which is the one that's bigger, right? Because, you know, the Airfix Model Kit Company helped out a great deal. I mean, not directly, but Airfix Models has been around for like ever, right? Ever since plastic models, I think, have been around. British right? Airfix is British, like Lindbergh. And Airfix, along with, airplanes, cars, tractors, that sort of stuff, they also did a bunch of space kits. So back when the Apollo program was going on, ooh, that was a big one right there. Ooh, okay, so I'm going to get rid of these stubs too, but I'm not going to do that right now. All right, there we go. We're done. See? Boop. There we go. Live stream's over. Goodbye, everybody. No, I'm kidding. You should put Han and Chewie in the cockpit. Oh, I kind of like that idea, actually. Oh, I forgot. I now have the property for a full-size Mark II Viper. Which is apropos of nothing, I know. Well, Andrew, I think not. I've seen your property, Andrew. At least the photos of it. Not only do you have room for a Mark II Viper, pal, but you've got room for a full-size Millennium Falcon. So, yeah, I grew up screwing up Airfix models. Didn't we all? They're fun. Okay, I think with this, I can show you what I'm talking about. When they built this spaceship for the show, this section right here where it kind of goes around here, it goes around here and it tapers, right? If you were to take this part, like this section, this cylinder off, that's a Saturn V model, like an Apollo moon rocket, and that thing, this little piece right here is about this long, and that's what they did. They took a Saturn V model. They split the rocket and put it on both sides. And then for the body, they did the same thing, but they used a different Apollo rocket. It was the Saturn 1B. And there was another model kit in the same scale. So where you see the round tube structures here, that's one of the other Saturn V kits. I think they chopped. Now this is the whole second stage of a Saturn V, and this is the whole first stage of a Saturn 1B. And then they built this thing. They carved this and vacuum formed it. So anyway, the point is, if you were so inclined, you actually could build this off of existing model kits. I wish I had a few more acres to fit a full-size Galactica. Well, let's see. The original Galactica from the old show, it was, I think the canonical length of it was like 1 US mile. So, how many acres is that? But the new version in the 2003, I think they switched it to metric. I think it's a kilometer, so it's not quite as long. I think that's pretty cool. All right. So that's not even the first thing I have to build, but I was so damn, it's only 4,750 feet. Oh, okay. Well, you got plenty of room. I say go for it. All righty. First things first. Let's consult the instructions, shall we? Let me zoom this on in a little bit. There we go. All righty. I love this. This highly detailed kit features precision-tooled parts for ease of assembly. Okay, I'm good. I'm down with that. All right. So the first thing they want us to build are these little. These are kind of like wings that clip on the sides that hold the side boosters. All right, let me find those first. Da da da. Da 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 da. So it looks like we have to put a couple of things on it. I'm down with that. All right, let's see. It looks like that's what those are right there. Okay, cool. How's everybody's Friday this week? Is everybody doing okay? There's 875 acres of state land behind me just sitting empty. Well. If you start with your Mark II Viper, Andrew, and then, sorry, non-uniform, forgive me, Andrew. Yeah, if you start with your Mark II Viper, then move on to the giant landing bay for it, I guarantee they'll never notice until you probably got half of it finished. You know, I'm sure you could build the whole thing out of cardboard. No, cardboard. That would be shitty. Ooh. Greebly alert. I'm so excited. This is the this thing right here is the back end. It's the ass end, right? And I don't know if you can see this. These little shapes right here. These right here. I don't know if that's how hard that is to see. There we go. I'm going to look and make sure I can see that. There we are. These are little lunar modules from one of the same kits they use, from one of the same kits that they used for the rest of it. So this is like the front half of a lunar module and the back half. Front half, back half, and then 2 extra front halves. They must have had a pile of those just kind of laying around. I love that. That's so cool. Anyway, these are the parts we need right here. This is, let's see, 43 and 50. Is that what it says? Oh my gosh. These are the numbers. What the? I can't even see the numbers. Jesus. Holy crap. Oh, I see. 43 and 45. We have a bingo. I've been saying that a lot in the last few weeks. We have a bingo. Mainly because of who's the actor? Christoph is his name. I can't think of his last name. He plays Hans Landa, the main baddie in Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. And he's an absolute genius. He's probably one of my favorite things about the show, other than Brad Pitt's performance. There's so much I love about that movie. Inglourious Bastards has become one of my favorite movies in the last, 20 years or so. Anyway, there's a line in there. Ooh, that's a bingo? Is that how you say it? Brad Pitt goes, nah, we just say bingo. Anyway. All right, let me get a little cleanup on the parts here. Whoop. So, for those of you new to model kits, what I'm doing here is I'm releasing these from the parts tree, and you really don't want to leave these edges where the little screw parts were. So I like to come in here and give them a good sanding down. And these are some of my favorite sanding sticks of all time. The Tropical Shine. I have a couple of flavors of it, including this one that I cut to pieces for a different project. These things, I've bought hobby grade sanding sticks like this before, where there's kind of a plastic foam, bit to it. There's a little bit of compression to them. They're not completely flat, but things last forever. When I bought these from the hobby shop with like these special hobby brand ones, if you ever wet sanded with them, these things would just separate and fall apart. They're just not made. The hobby ones weren't made for it. They're cheap, expensive because they're hobby grade, but they were cheaply made. But yeah, this one's a little bit more. I have a bit right here, so I like to just kind of zonk off any remaining screw so that you get flat edges. Mainly because if you've got something sticking out, it'll be an issue when you try to glue things later. Plus, it just looks nasty. If you want to win a contest, a model contest, the simplest thing you can do is just clean up where your models are glued together. Try to hide the glue seams. Don't leave glue blobs. And, honestly, if you do a good, honest job with that, you will stand a good chance of winning model contests. Sure, there will always be the rivet counters who will go, oh, well, that particular model should have 5,084 rivets, but I counted yours and you only have 3,800 rivets, so You don't get a gold. You know what I think of that? Okay, now I've got our pieces here. Hey, Ginger's here. How you doing, Ginger? Happy Friday. Greetings. Good to see ya. Welcome aboard to the model building Friday live stream. Here we go. Let's see. I got these two pieces, and now I need this, and this. Oh, that might actually still be on there. Hang on. Let's see. 41. Nope. It's like a little square box. It's not on this, though. The heck with that piece. Okay. Ah! I'm total chaos when I build this stuff. Let's see here. I don't see it on there. The little numbers of the parts are about the size of an ant. And I'm wearing a different pair of glasses today that will not allow me to see that. So, all right. I think it's in here. Let's just go for it. Up. He is so skilled with the knife. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, yeah. Greebles. Greeblies. Greeblies. I'll say them all wrong. Look at that. It's right on there. This is the technical term for this is the big ass engine sitting off the back. That's this thing, which is also a Saturn V piece. I can look at it right now. This is the not surprising. I knew all of this. This round piece across here. This is the interstage ring. It's the ring that would pop off in between stages. I'm reasonably certain that these are back ends from a smaller Saturn V kit with bits on them. Anyway, enough about that. So silly. We're walking down the history of one of the most obscure spaceships in TV history. Except for those of us that saw the show. All right, what do I need here? I need that thing. And I need... What the heck? 48. I need this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing. Okay, cool. Now, the very important piece here, don't get lost. So I'm going to take a moment here. I'm going to line these up appropriately. So here is the, okay, we have the right version. We've got the little bits there and the left version right there. So I have some semblance. There we go. Should I call 911 preemptively? Remember, don't catch X-Acto knives on your knees. Nah, let's Iridium, let's let it be a surprise, right? Because that will just take all the fun out of it if we actually have medical attention here. Actually, that is a pretty let me see. It's a pretty recent blade. Good catch. Yes. Folks, what you don't want to do is drop this and have it and like let it catch between your knees, because you know if you snap your knees together, there's a very good chance it'll land like this. If you drop your X-Acto knife, just let it land. If it lands in your foot, yeah, there we go. If it lands in your foot, pretty easy to deal with if you're wearing shoes. If you're not wearing shoes, usually the screams can wake up children, pets, all of that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm gonna get the little pieces out. I'll need this piece to go with this one. There we go. All right, let's see. Is that? There we go. I'm really that wasn't even attached. Well, frazzled we were. Let me see here. All right, I'm gonna do it, folks. I'm gonna go right ahead and swap out the glasses because the other ones are not letting me focus up close. There we go. This is what happens when you get old, people. You get 2 glasses. Okay. Right. Little bits off the ends here. There's a little bit over there. Okay, a little bit on there. I am absolutely going to also what's what I'm looking for. Big shout out to Round 2. They have done a very good job making some very nicely detailed kits of these subjects. Kits that are fun to build, kits that are clearly designed to be built by old farts like me. Oh, that's really not going anywhere, is it? No. Oh. Well, it's a detail bit. I'm just going to cut it off. Who cares? It's a Greeble. Do you think they cared about this kind of stuff? They just said, get a piece on there. Right. All right, there we go. Ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. And then these little bad boys go down first. So this one is 50. 50. Fudge. Oh, they had the numbers wrong. I see now. Okay, cool. So this is the one I need next. All right. Right. I know, this is going to take me forever. So we're going to try to, we'll try to expedite this. There's going to be a lot of little detail-y bits. We'll see how far we go. If I can get the major components of this thing built, I will prime it with some gray paint. And then we'll go from there. Hey, Nanu's here. How you doing, Nanu? Good to see ya. We are building the Mark 9 Hawk from Space 1999. And hanging out on a Friday. All right. Look at that. I can actually pull glue out that time. Oh, Jinja. I'm also in a woodworking server. And Handsome was dubbed Mr. Gambletoes for bare feet while working on a project. Don't be Mr. Gambletoes. Oh crap, Nanu's here. How you doing, Nanu? Good to see ya. Yeah, don't be Mr. Gambletoes. Oh man. I used to a couple of shops I was in over the years, woodworking and metalworking shop, and no, I will no, not bare feet for me in either. Thank you, no. The metal shop I was working in, we had World War II era lathes, you know, spinning lathes and milling machines. The schools had them forever. You get an afternoon going with those things, and there's metal shavings all over the place. I was wearing basically tennis shoes. I should have been wearing something with a tougher sole, because I remember walking back to my car that day afterwards through the snow and the slush and all of that, because it was winter in Michigan or spring. All of those metal shards just absolutely tore the soles of my shoes up, so they just looked like Swiss cheese. It was hilarious. My feet were soaked. I couldn't figure it out. Kind of pissed me off. It was like the only pair of shoes I had for school. All right. Bum, bum, bum. That has fantastic visibility. I'm doing glass work and flip-flops. Damn it, Nanu. That makes me nervous just hearing about it. All right, let's get some parts going here and make this seem like we're actually building something, shall we? All right. Oh, yep, that little bit goes there. There we go. How did they figure out how this thing was going to go? I don't get it. Okay. So I love that they have you put a piece on first and then a piece on top of that. They could have probably just had one piece, or they could have just molded it straight in. That's so funny. Oh, no, they couldn't have molded it straight in because the mold came in this way. Did it come in that way? I can't tell. Anyway, all right, let's get some things glued, shall we? I was standing watch on the ship once, and there was some oil or something on the deck, and over 4 hours, your soul's disintegrated. Oh man! See now, they had a PX on the ship, right, where you could like get like a backup pair, right? But still. Okay, so the glue that I'm using, I still have a little bit of this Ambroid Pro Weld plastic welder for styrene butyrate ABS acrylic. I'm pretty certain this is still got like MEK or something in it. This company doesn't exist anymore, but there are some versions of this glue still out there, and I have it in this foam thing so I don't, hopefully don't knock it over. Nope, you were. Oh man, that's brutal. Freaking military, I tell ya. Well, you put shoe disintegrating liquids on the deck of your ship, and you don't bring any extra shoes. What the heck? Oh, is this the Russian Navy you were in, Nanu? I'm kidding. All right, we're gonna get some of that under. Ship store, yes. Shoes for dress uniforms, no. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Hey, at the ship store, you can get as many Marlboros and condoms and comic books you'd ever want. Shoes? Ah. You bring your own shoes. I jest. Okay, so I got that piece down. I'll put the other one on too. What the heck? Before I do the details. I'm not being particularly careful. They seem to slot. There's like little pegs in here. So I'm just going to do the thing. Da 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 da. See, now I figure with my luck, if I were ever in the Navy or something like that, one of the first mistakes I made living on my own was doing a whole load of whites, washing clothes, and accidentally left a bright red, still unwashed sweatshirt in the laundry basket. So every piece of white clothing I have turned pink, which is really a great look when you're not going for that look, Yeah. Never saw the comic books. Yeah. Ship store, yes. Okay, you have to pay for your uniform items. Okay, that's cool. You never saw comic books. But everything else you saw, I'm guessing. No comic books. What kind of Navy are you in? Oof, that's high on Earth. Okay, let's get the little piece in. Oh my god. They have a drawing of the piece here, but you got me how this thing's supposed to really go. I think it's like that. I think it's like this. Does it matter? Oh, look, there's two pieces right there. Okay, cool. Ah! It's a thing. It's a thing on a thing. All right, I'm not going to do that one. This one's easier to figure out. I'm gonna get this one in here first, right? All right. There we go. Okay. I got a little bit of this on here. So this stuff is really volatile in that it's not as volatile as like lighter fluid where it basically evaporates the second you put it on, but it is almost like that. So you put a bunch on, it melts the plastic. That's the simplest way of saying it, and then you just kind of squish everything together, and you're good to go. There we are. So there we are. This is a nicely detailed piece. This is going to actually, once we get into painting, this is going to look really good. So there we go. They're on. Next up. Da, da. I guess this goes this way? I can't even tell. Oh, let's look in the box. Eh, I wonder if I can. I'll bet you can't even see. You can't even see where these things are. Oh my god. All right. You because these hold these are like these basically carry engines. So you really can't see them after they've been attached. Got to be this way, right? No, it's got to be this way. Actually, it doesn't even look like the same feet. I know it is because it has the proper things there. Okay, just gonna go for it. Not gonna deliberate. I love how I pull out a model kit that's pretty big, and the first thing I'm building is something that basically is the size of an ant. So yeah. Da-da. I will say this though. When you get a kit like this, the little hole wasn't big enough. Yeah, I said that. It actually goes this way, sorry. That's why you had it backwards, Chris. There we go. Easy peasy. I keep saying thanks, Jamie, because Jamie's the product manager for round 2 and is as much of a sci-fi geek as the rest of us. Yeah, there we go. Whoop, wrong way, like that. Okay, first thing done. Whoop, we're set. Woohoo! Now next, we get to build the guns. We get to build the gun thing. That's kind of fun. All right, they had like these missile launcher bits, I guess, and I think this is one of them. And this is one of them. Yeah, because these are like, yeah, these are like, so this is a pretty common. They shoot multiple sprues that have the same details on them, and that's cool. That's really cool. We need those, and we need these two right here. Yes, there we go. All right, let's get those first. I'm gonna set these aside. And let's get these guys out. Ooh, these are going to be tricky. I think I'm going to go this route. Instead of using my clippers on this one, I think I'm going to go this way. There we go. I like having a pretty beefy X-Acto knife that goes with my regular one, just in case of these things. I thought that was a stand. It does have a stand, but it's... Yeah, this is like the round 2 stand. I actually like these stands, honestly. They kind of went with this for all their kits. I think they have them in like 3 different sizes. But check this out. So you get this really cool dome, right? Which, you know, painting this up is going to be a blast. I think I'm going to have to do a moon surface on this one. And then you actually get like a nice steel rod that you can use for your model. See, this is pretty cool. You get this little, whoop, needs to be glued, but this probably weighs half as much as the whole kit, so that's pretty neat. It makes for a nice, it makes for a nice presentation. It really does. I'm gonna set that aside too. Now I'm encountering issues with my own setup. Simple and elegant. Yeah. Now, this is going to work. Actually, I might try it with my smaller one here. Dang, look at this skinny. Oh, F this. This is a skinny piece right here. No, I'm not going to. I don't want to mess with this. So I'm going to take this whole thing off. There we go. Wow, that thing was that was crazy. And then we'll get the other pieces while I'm doing this. So yeah, I have applied today for the YouTube Partner Program. Yay! I want to thank all of you, because this wouldn't have happened at all if you haven't been sticking around for my stuff. So thank you very much. That That makes me very happy, and I am thrilled, I tell you, to be rolling along here. Ta-da! I know, last week I bailed on you. I'm so sorry, everybody. It was self-preservation of my brain. More than anything else, I am sometimes subject to the terrible things going on in the world. So, but I'm better now. Uh-oh. Ridium says work is requesting my attention. Listen, everybody that's on here, you're welcome to let them know. Let your bosses and managers know. You've got a very important meeting to attend to here, and that is building the Mark 9 Hawk with Christopher Dahl's face art. You know, because it is Friday after all. And if this doesn't get done, their quarterly reports at your company will not be properly set, and your whole department will look bad. So you gotta pay attention. I don't know. I think maybe I should do it. Maybe I should print that. Maybe I should print that. Print up some like get out of work, cards. Get out of jail free cards. Wes says right there with you, buddy. Yeah. I really don't want my channel to go down the line of politics, and I will avoid it. But man, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. It isn't even politics. Yeah, put today's live stream on your TPS reports, right? Right? There we go. Send it to Doge. Sorry. That's as far as I'm going. Right? Okay. Space 19. I love Space 1999, don't you? It's really great. You need a hall pass? Hall passes will be available at the checkout counter. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. I'll put them in my store for 35 cents. That's funny. All right. I'm just gonna clean these up. There's little there's little holes at the front because they've got little rocket launchers or machine guns or something. I have no idea what they intended the weapons for these to be. They never show them being used. They just look menacing in the show. Yeah, for being as dangerous as these ships are supposed to be, they really did the lamest effects. It wasn't lasers or anything. It was just a little light going beep 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 with standard gunshot sound effects out of the BBC effects library. Sound effects that you would probably hear in every James Bond movie, Alien, and a few others. But yeah, I'll list it on my email. I have to send Monday with my 5 things. That's right. Send your 5 things. Well, I scratched my balls on Thursday, and don't get me started. I'm doing refills right now. I'd love to get out of jail free card. What kind of you're doing refills? What kind of refills are you doing? Refills. Boy, I tell you, I picked a real shitty year to quit drinking, let me tell you. All right. So these basically get glued face down with... These basically just... It's a flat plate that gets glued down like this, right? So it's face-to-face with some pins. What I like to do, though... styrene like this. It's pretty smooth, right? So before I glue facing pieces together, I do kind of like to give them a quick... Just a quick scuff. Cannabis refills? Oh, God, I could use a cannabis refill, let me tell you. Why the fuck did I move to a state that doesn't have legal pot is beyond me. What a bunch of losers. I'm sorry. I do try to keep the language down, but sometimes it's fire for effect, right? Yeah. Oh, boy. Right. Well, today we showed up with Chris Dahl. He was building models and swearing and bitching about not having any pot. Please, everybody, send me pot. Sorry, I'm still working, reviewing refill requests and setting them up to providers so they can say yay or nay. Oh, right. Yeah, those refills. Awesome, great. Listen, Jinja, I will take a massive supply of Xanax. Okay, that would be fantastic. No. The health insurance is amazing. I couldn't complain. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to think these things really, really loudly. I I like that. Yes. I've been doing a lot of loud thinking this week. You just ask Stephanie. Like, God damn it, mother, son of a. Did I tell you that I really have been enjoying the movie Inglourious Bastards? Yes, well, I do, and I really think that it's become my favorite movie in a while. So, yeah. You know, it's funny too. You know, my dad absolutely refuses to watch any Quentin Tarantino movie. He really thinks the guy's a jerk, which is fine. I mean, his experience with Quentin Tarantino, I'm certain, are his appearances on shows like, you know, Stephen Colbert, or whatever the late shows were. And in person, Quentin Tarantino could be a lot, right? I mean, he's a much more enthusiastic nerd than I ever was. You know, he's what do they say in Jurassic Park? He possesses an extreme amount of personality. So I can see why someone would kind of be put off by that. I don't know, maybe he's just a jerk or something. I don't know. But when I start going through my list of movies that I like rewatching and that I enjoy, there's a hell of a lot of Tarantino movies in there. Oh, man. And the first time I saw Inglourious Bastards, I saw it in the theater with my Uncle Greg. We went together to see that. And I honestly didn't know what to make of the movie. It was so different than anything I'd seen. And it was weirdly funny and, like, crazy. I didn't really know where to put it. I don't think I watched it again for, like, another year or two. But it really has stuck with me. I really think it's one of his best works. And it's not, yeah, for many reasons. It is definitely a black comedy, which is right up my alley, let me tell you. Bum, bum, bum. I work with rheumatology. That's right, you work at the rheumatology clinic. Forgive me, Ginger. I get in the middle of this and I forget my basic facts. Yeah, big deep breaths, everyone. Glue fumes could achieve all sorts of calm the fact down. Inglourious Bastards. Yes. Fortunately, like I said, this glue is pretty volatile. I'm not terribly concerned about the toxicity of this, but sometimes when you're working with some really large pieces, I'll make sure I've got venting. So yeah. Oh man, I love the. This is the same guy that does my intro music, and I adore it. I like this guy's stuff. Anyhow, okay. So I'm gonna let this cure a little bit. There's still, like, I don't know if it can be, if it's obvious or not. Let me see if I can pull this in even closer. There we go. Yeah. There's a little bit of a seam right here. That may or may not be seen. I don't know. Yeah. So what I'll do is, after this sets up, I'll go through and just give this a good shakedown. If you get an unsightly seam like this where two pieces go together, one of the things this glue is really good for, it kind of liquefies the plastic. I don't know if I can get it to do it here. So you use a little bit more than you want to, not so much that it's running all over the place, and then you just kind of let it sit there for a second and give it a good squeeze, and like all that liquid plastic will pinch out a little bit on a tiny level. And once that sets up and cures, then you get to zonk it off, and you'll have no line whatsoever. That's like one of my favorite stupid model building tricks. It's called use more glue than you need to. I really should be finishing up the project I have on deck for Wonderfest. By the way, Wonderfest is coming up at the end of May in Louisville, Kentucky. I have a table at Wonderfest this year, and I will be bringing. I don't know. I think I'm going to be bringing bringing some paintings. Right. I'll be a vendor. And hey, I'm not just going to be a vendor. I'm a vendor in the A room. Usually the A room is reserved for all the people that just have models, but I got in at the last minute, and they were kind enough to sell me a table. In fact, the guy's table that I picked up was saying he wasn't going to come back this year, which is how it became available. And it turns out he is going to be back this year, but now he's in the B room, so he can go stick it with all the B room. No, I'm kidding. The B room and the A room are both amazing. There's no distinction, honestly. I love them both. All right. Woohoo! We got those. So, we now have, on the sum total of our build here, we got these two, we got those. That's pretty cool. The nose piece, I will detach it. But this is kind of the thing that fits underneath here. It's this piece right here. However, I'm not going to put the clear pieces on just yet. That's like one of the things I will reserve for the final. Oh, Radium's back! Greetings! I see you've had some issues with your bottle not staying upright. That is very, very true. How many times have I knocked over a bottle of cement? Way too many to count. And one time it was on our dining room table, which absolutely stripped the shit out of the finish, and I felt terrible. But so yeah, so that's gonna be there for now. I do practice. I practice safe gluing, Wes. You must always practice safe gluing. 10-hour drive. That's not bad. I would do a 10-hour drive, Wes. It was about 6 or 7. I think it was about between 6 and 7 hours for me last year, from where I'm at. But yeah, it's a good show. Even if you don't have a model to bring in. I'm sorry, I should move this up here. It's a fun show, and there's usually some cool stuff to see. I'm gonna miss my Canadian friends who will not be making it this year for obvious reasons, mainly because they're all very smart people, and I would rather nothing happen to them. So that's gonna be regrettable. But I'm thinking about making a trip up to, kind of the London, Ontario region. Maybe we can do sort of an off-season meeting of the modelers, right? Yeah. More of things that suck that easily could have been prevented. Yeah. Either way, Wonderfest is very cool. And if you're even remotely interested in this kind of stuff, it's absolutely worth the trip. My dad had a really cool cement bottle that was shaped like a pyramid, had a really thick base. Ooh, was that like a glass? Was it like a refillable glass bottle? Because honestly, I'm keeping my eye open at the different flea markets and such. They should just move Wonderfest to Montreal. Seriously. Oh my gosh. So or Montreal should just have one, which would really be great on its own. Cool. Check this out. So this basically goes in here. That's going to be a hell of a lot easier to paint before I glue it. So I'm just going to do the. That's actually kind of fun. That's really, really interesting. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna pull my lens back a little bit. Yeah, glass refillable. I, I really dig that idea, Wes. I would like to I would like to do that even for on my oil painting. The liquid that I use. One of my favorite artists I've been following on YouTube, Andrew Tischler. I think we talked about him before. He got one of those skull-shaped vodka bottles, and he uses that for his he uses that for his liquid. It's awesome. Okay, now these little doodads. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. So this thing's tiny. This thing's tiny. I might skip this one too. Let's see here. Da, da, da. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this one quite yet. What are you thinking of things? Okay. I'm gonna move some pieces out of the way. So the next step in our instructions are these the side thruster pod things. They're I never glued that. It's funny. They're these little bits right here. No, move it out of the fucking south. Right? Yeah. Anyway, the reason why Wonderfest has been in Louisville is the people that started it live in Wonderville. Live in Louisville, in Wonderville. Nice. One of them was the I think he just retired too. Was the head zookeeper at the Louisville Zoo, which is an amazing zoo, by the way. Yeah, Louisville's a cool town. There's some cool stuff going on there. But yeah, they're not going to move it out of there ever. Okay, so I found it. So we're gonna skip the next step, people, because basically what I have to do is I have to take this square piece right here and attach all four of these to it. We're just gonna save that for later. Oh wait, I forgot. I gotta do my thing. Okay, so we can check that. Half off. We're gonna skip. So there we go. Yeah, there we are. St. Louis Zoo is a great. Yes, I'd love to go there too. I have never been to the St. Louis one. Da 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 da. All right, well, we're getting into the. Isn't this exciting, everybody? Oh, Ginger says I have a little box with a drop-in inkwell, so I can't knock my ink over. Actually, that's really a good way to go. Just have something that'll hold it up. And the worst part about, I mean, these bottles are tall anyway, right? When you spill one, it's thinner than water. Basically, it runs everywhere. It's really annoying. So you're toast, and that stuff has never been cheap. I'll tell you right now, it's always pretty expensive. Okay, so we have some things on here. Let's see where those are. I'll bet it's on this one. Boop. We have this piece. This piece. We're gonna get those two. 57. I actively disbelieve that it's the number. I'll bet it's on one of these. Oh, there we go. No. Ah, here we go. 57. Two of these. Okay, those two. And then 58. So these engine bells here. So those three. Now, what the heck? All right, folks. I give up. What is this damn symbol? I can see I need to take this piece, attach this. Is that a glue? Is that what that is? What are those symbols? Is there a key? No, it's just a drawing. Okay. Well, that ain't right. It looks like they're trying to say that's that's they say don't glue it, or I mean, what's going on here? What am I looking at here? What are we talking about here? Time to break out the magnifying hood. Yeah. Ooh, New Orleans has a beautiful zoo too. You know, I was at the last big thing I saw in New Orleans was they had a botanical garden right there on the coast. And unfortunately, I think during one of the hurricanes, it got destroyed. I was there for SeaGraph at the Sony DreamWorks party, which was awesome, by the way. That was pretty cool shit. By the way, Wes, that was the only time I was absolutely rubbing elbows with somebody from DreamWorks. And they ignored me like you wouldn't believe. I talked to about 3 people, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this stuff. What are you guys doing? They're like, fuck, just get a drink and shut up. Okay. But I did see that, and it was actually very cool. Okay. Let me collect some. I'll get annoyed when I see iconography that doesn't have a key. Go. All right. I am going to elect to not worry about it. Okay, I'm finding a bunch of 3D printed glue bottle holders on Google. So the takeaway from this is that it's pretty much a bigger problem, a big enough problem to warrant that many of those things. That's pretty funny. All right. I love it. Glue bottle holders. As you can see, I put a hell of a lot of thought into mine. This, I think, was this is one of those foam batons that they give you at sports events, specifically the Seattle Sound. Wait. What's Seattle's soccer team name again? I can't. And some tape. Worked out really great. So that thing's not a part? Which part? Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think it is. I think that is maybe it is a part. 56. All right, I'm going for it. You're right. You're probably right, sir. Here I am just blabbing away. Oh my gosh. Well, I thought it was an icon, Wes. Oops. All right, delete the VOD. It has a number next to it. Yeah, look. And there we go. Right? Excuse me. Oh, man. Professional model building. I can read the instructions, sir. Yeah, that'll be my. I'm sure that'll be sampled now from here to eternity. Meanwhile, over at round 2, Jamie Hood's typing up a note saying, "Do not sell Christopher Doll any more model kits ever because he's an idiot." I mean, it doesn't look like it. I know. So I think the thing that threw me, it has this like line through it. So this to me looked like, glue bottle, don't glue any of this, which would make no sense whatsoever. All right, what the hell's the age group on this thing? Let's see. Hold on a second here. This says, all right, where is it? We're gonna look here. Ages 10 and up. 10 and up. Ah! I think I can do it, folks, if I really work on it. All right. Trying to get into some serious model building here. How's your Friday going, everybody? Here's why Chris never builds any models anymore. I know. Oh, give me the dimensions of your bottle. I'll make you a holder for my 3D printer. Oh, thanks, Nano. I appreciate it. Well, this is about to change, right? Because this is my last bottle of Ambroid Pro Weld because there is no more. They've gone out of business. I have a different one. Thank you. I will reach out to you about it. Thank you. All right. Engine bells. There was another piece. 57, right? 57. That's this one right. This one I'm not so worried about. We'll get that. But there's also, in the interest of improving my shop space, there's a few other things I'd like to get that are like glue and paint and tool management. So I that's kind of like a longer term project. See, this whole office I'm in is sort of it's sort of like version 1. Give it ratchet straps. I'm about to leave to take my wife to get a cortisone shot. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Hey, thanks for joining, and thank you all for hanging out. I'm just gonna play around here, and you can come back and check it out later if you want to. Folds out like landing legs, so look like the lunar module. Hey, I wonder if there's actually lunar module land. Okay, hang on a second. I'll bet. Yeah, there is. Okay. All right. These three right here they're smaller. This is definitely a lunar module leg piece from the bigger kit. There's a lot of lunar module parts in this. Yeah. So in theory, you could do fold-out landing legs like the lunar module. Okay. I'm gonna pop this bad boy out the creative way. We need this engine bell. Engine bells are tricky. If you screw it up, you'll get like flats on the sides. It's not fun. Doesn't look as cool. So we're gonna be nice to these guys. We're gonna take that one off. All right. And then get this one. But yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out with me on a Friday afternoon. We're just doing our thing. And for those of you on the West Coast, Wes, you were here early. I hope the cortisone shot goes well. That's not fun. Too much cross-stitching. I can sympathize because I've been playing this damn guitar since January. I say damn guitar. I'm having a blast with it. And my left hand is definitely not fun. Oh, Iridium! You got it. The same stuff is what they call it from Micromark. Yes, Micromark now sells this glue. They call it, the bottle looks the same too. It's pretty cool. The same stuff. I think I'll bet the bottle's the same. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. All right. This is actually a very soothing, calming experience. Just sitting with your model, having a good time. Need the harsher one. Getting rid of glue. Getting rid of the. I'm getting rid of the little knobbies from the sprue here. So just gonna sand them down. This is often a better way to do it than just cutting them, because you kind of get more control. And I'm swapping between my coarse and fine versions here so that we get a nice transition. Yeah, we had the discussion about cement a while back. That's right, we did, didn't we? Yeah. She needs to take breaks, get in the zone. Hours, yeah, and hours go by. Anyway, yeah, the guitar. My goal at the beginning of the year was twofold. I wanted to uncrate the guitar, and I decided if I wasn't gonna pick it up and play it, I was just gonna get rid of it. So I stuck it here in the studio. And one of my other goals was to step away from social media. I have done that, even though those of you that follow me know that I do a lot of shit posting. It's fun. Anyway, I decided that in the interest of not being on social media as much, which Stephanie also recommended because it's not healthy for me, I instead of picking up the phone or picking up the computer and looking at my different accounts, I would pick up the guitar. It's actually cut down by hours during the week, the number of times I would be like looking at the social medias. I still kind of get caught up in it because it's too easy to see this stuff. But I'm actually learning how to play the damn thing, which is really fun. Yeah. Highly recommended. I mean, I still can't play anything. I still sound like garbage, but you know, just kind of getting the hang of it again. I didn't. This isn't the first time I've had a guitar. I've walked up and walked up to them a few times over the years. I had one when I was about 11, 12 years old and got some basic lessons, which didn't stick. And then I got back into it in college with I had a couple of acoustics and my first electric. Then life kind of took over and I walked away from it again. And then I got this one. Sold my electric, got this one, but I just realized this week I've had this is like my quote-unquote new guitar. It's the way it sits in my head. I've had this since about 2006, 2007. Haven't played it the whole time. If I had, I'd actually be pretty damn good at it. But so I thought, okay, oh, that piece just fell right off. That's really cool. I thought, let's give this a shot. And, you know, every time I picked up a guitar, I picked up the guitar or a guitar, I would learn something a little new, right? So it's not like I'm completely green, but never really attained proficiency. Like our pal Wes here, just in Discord, did some really cool music with some friends. And I'm nowhere near prepared to step into a recording session with anybody. Like, that's not going to happen for a while. Not a chance. So I'm impressed as hell as anybody that's done that. Anyway. I just want to figure out the basics of things like the Space 1999 theme song. Since I've got it. I've got so much of this. And that poor stub was not happy. Okay. It's going to take a little finessing. This is my finest grade of sandpaper. Sand stick. Excuse me. I mean, I have finer sandpapers for different phases, but I'm just trying to get the little edges off. We want these smooth. There we go. Oh, that's just painted. I can't tell if yeah, I damaged it. That's okay. Oh no, I'll have reduced the perfection of my. Maybe we'll do battle damage on this one. I mean, who knows? Depending on how bad we do this kit, that might make perfect sense. All right, here we go. Enough cleaning of parts. Let's get this thing together. So we've got one of these doodads here. And we have this guy. Wow, that just like goes on there like that. That seems lame. Okay, and then you get a thingy on this, right? Okay. Oh, I'll see. There we go. That piece goes like that. I assume. Yeah, there we go. It does go off at a little bit of an angle. Okay, and then this thing goes inside. Is that how that works? Oh, I see. So there's like a... It's like a detail piece for the inside of the... Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha now. All right. So that was like a plug of some kind. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. Yes. Thanks, Wes. Catch you in a little bit, all right? If we're still here, you're welcome to drop back in. Good luck. Yes, everyone. I am Christopher Dahl. You are here on our live Space Art Friday. Today we are working on a model kit of the Space 1999 Hawk. And I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. That would be very cool. Thank you very much. All right, let's get this thing glued up here, shall we? There we go. Man, that thing just sits weird. All right, we're just going to do it anyway. Who cares? All right. I'm not terribly worried about the detailing on this because it's kind of not going to be seen that much. But there we go. Let's blob some glue on there and throw that bad boy in. Ooh, weird. How does that... Okay, does that really go in an angle? I don't think that one is supposed to be angled like that. Although I could be wrong. Does this one sit this way? It's not sitting flush, which is weird to me. Yeah, it's supposed to sit flush. So I'm going to just like make sure that that is reasonably flush. There we go. All right, let's put that one down. Let that do its thing. This cement really does hot. It flashes off and settles really fast. You know, within a minute, you're going to have a pretty solid bond. Man, it smells so good. There we go. Well, we'll just go with it. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Now, I know sometimes watching someone build a model is a little bit like watching the grass grow. But I hope you're having fun anyway. It's pretty cool. All right. With those two pieces. Dang. So then this thing kind of sits like that. And it does. It has like a little bit of an angle. And that's cool. All right. Oh, dear. Actually, I'm going to take a look at my... Okay, can't see shit. Right. Really can't tell. I'm just trying to look and see where... The only detail shot I can see is like this one right here. And there's no way I can tell how that is going to go. So I'm just going to call that. Oh, I missed a piece. Little piece of sprue there. There we go. It's all good. I know, just trying to... I just want to get it right. You know, the whole getting it right thing is very important. Because this is where the engines are mounted, so if you get that wrong, you're kind of toast. All right, let's see if I can get this. Is that actually holding pretty well? It's still a little soft. That's okay. We're just gonna do it. Okay, so Inglourious Basterds, yes. Good fun. My other get me in a good mood movie is it's not even a movie. It's a mini series. I mean, you can call it a movie because I think all in all it's like 5 hours of mini series, maybe a little bit more. It was put on by HBO Max a few years back. It's a show called Chernobyl. I just, if you really need to get yourself into a happy mood, just dial up Chernobyl. Well, is he a nihilist? Is that what's going on? Oh. Is that all that does? Is that all that does? Right. It is actually sticking out slightly. It's got a bit of an angle to it. Okay, cool. All right, there's that one. And then this bad boy. Put that one there. I have a very curious way of dealing with malaise. I try to find the most depressing movies possible. Well, not the most depressing movies possible, because I refused to ever watch The Road, the adaptation of the Cormac McCarthy novel, ever again. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong. A fantastic movie. But I won't watch the movie for the same reason I'm not going to read that book again, because, oh my God. Holy crap. Cormac. Dude. Jesus. I used to fear global nuclear war. Now I welcome it. No. Global thermonuclear war. Yeah, there we go. All right. I think this thing has an angle. I have an angle. What angle? Him. Okay, yep, there we go. Got an angle right there. Okay. So I have to get some, I'll start on this one. Let's get this one here. It bends that way, goes in like that. Okay, there we go. I do like that they gave some engine detail on the inside of these engine bells. I actually think that's pretty cool. Mainly because the original studio models probably had some plug or something in there, I think. And there we go. I probably should put that in first. The old handy dandy bits. There we go. It's always, it's nice to have a selection of like tweezer things in there too. This will help out a great deal often. There we go. All right. Same thing here. I think I'll just pre-tweezer this one. So we have, it's impossible to see on the camera. There's a slight bevel to the end of this piece, and that's why I'm worried about it. It matches the slightly bent angle going on here. So it has to go in kind of like that. All right, there we go. How to combat fatigue. How to combat world news fatigue. Well, I think learning how to build Molotov cocktails is probably one of the most relaxing things you can do. No, did I say that out loud? No, I'm sorry. Don't build Molotov cocktails, kids. It's terrible. Don't build any cocktail you can't drink. Okay, I'll let you do one. No. Oh boy. How much trouble am I going to get into? There we go. All right, look at this. Oh, we've got cute engines. We've got the cutest engines. with our ship. There we go. Yes, See, I'm just gonna stick these like on the back and call it done. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just kidding. Molotov cocktails are always a recipe for a good time. Hey, did you see the ones you could do that actually don't even require you to light them because they're like hypergolic, and when the liquids mix together after everything crashes, they just ignite? Woo, survive work. Congratulations. Awesome. Welcome to Friday. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It is Friday here. Hanging out with some space art and some geeky models. Alrighty. Listen, I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to walk away for a second. And when I come back... Oh, here, before I go, we have to mark this one off. We're gonna check this one off the list. Beep, beep. There we go. And then we move on to basically what these things are attached to. So there we go. All right. Actually, what I should do... Let me just do this. There we go. All right, folks. Stick around. I will be right back shortly. Do not go away. There we go. Oh, it made it upside down. Nice. Hang tight, everybody. All right, here we go. I forgot this little bad boy is there we go. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me on this Friday afternoon. We are live streaming space art in the form of a spaceship model today. This lovely Space 1999 Hawk by Round 2, but it's marked MPC, just like the 70s, which is great. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, sometimes I do the little model stream, and, you know, we're just going to have a little fun with it as we go. Awesome. Let's get right back to it then, shall we, everybody? Yay! I kind of feel like this thing... Yeah, I kind of futzed this one a little bit, but I might take a moment and clean this up before we proceed, because that just feels unfinished. So let's get these guys out of here. The best way to do this, the probably the best way to approach these. They did a good job. It's you want to maintain this line. You just want the nubbin, the nubbin of the bit there. Whoop! Sounds great. Hey, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of this with my Corsus standing stick, and this will make pretty fast work of this styrene, which is what most of these kits are made of. Is actually, it's pretty soft, right? So we'll just grind that down. And once your standing stick actually hits the edge here, that's kind of like, you want to stop just before that. There we go. We're getting really close here. And when you get that close, then you switch to your finer grade, and you'll bring it right on down. There we go. And if you do it right, there's like nothing left. A little bit of a nub. Look at that. Cool. But yes, like cross stitch and like painting rocks, anything else, this is a very therapeutic kind of hobby. You just kind of work it a little bit at a time. You see some progress as you go, and in the end, you end up with a Mark 9 Hawk. If it was allowed, to do like a group viewing of the show, I would totally put this episode on. But I think that's still kind of a no-no. I have to look that up. Do we do a group viewing, kind of like, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style? Our new pals, Cassie and Chelsea, would love that. I know they're big fans of Riff Tracks and Mystery Science Theater. I think that could be a lot of fun. But I should really look into the rules of that. It's funny. I had this idea that my presence on YouTube and becoming a partner was so far off. I just haven't even looked into, like, what can I do, what can I not do. And it'd be kind of fun for something like that. Besides, I know that many of you have seen this show, but some of you haven't. Fortunately, Space 1999 is actually on the Tubi channel. Tubi. So it's free. And what you want to see this particular ship is an episode called War Games. And first season. There is no second season of Space 1999. Haha. Yeah, I'm one of those. Oh, this one's in a tough spot. I gotta round this. Oh, no. No! There is a little seam line here, so I'm gonna kind of take that out, too. When the molds clamp together, you'll sometimes get a little bit of a line of styrene. It's just kind of flash, I guess would be the column. Anything MST3K style would be great. Seriously. One of the years I was at Wonderfest, they usually do Saturday night movies. They'll pick some fun movies. And one year, the actress Carolyn Monroe was there. And the movie on Saturday night was Star Crash. Star Crash, everybody. Oh my God. I can't think of a more wonderfully horrible movie. So Carolyn Monroe, super nice gal. She was awesome. She was, what a good sport. Holy smokes. She came into the auditorium where we were all gathered to watch the movie, and it's at the hotel, right? So all of us had like 3 beers under our seats and flasks or what have you, and We were probably already bombed out of our minds anyway, but it's good bonding. It's good bonding at the show. So she introduces Star Crash. They fire it up, and yes, the whole crew. There must have been like 300 of us there, just MST3King the whole movie. It was so fun. Oh my god. Yeah. All right, I'm just getting these sprue nubs off of here because I don't want them there anymore. This particular side right here is probably not going to be seen, so I'm just going to be a little more. I'm going to be a bit exacting about it. That's an X-Acto blade, so I'm being exacting. Only the quality humor makes it through at the Space Art by Christopher Dell Friday night live stream. Friday afternoon live stream. All right. Let's see here. There's another one right there. Yep. Exacting. There's an ongoing special category of models this year at Wonderfest, and I am participating in it. And I only have a partial start on it right now, so I'm probably, instead of building this damn hawk, I probably should be finishing that. Very important. Last year's special, I didn't get in on the special. It's not a contest, right? It's a special model category that was put on by Jason Eden and a few. I think Jason's the main dude, and a couple of them that were that were involved with it. They took the Star Trek shuttlecraft model, and the goal was to translate it to something that like completely out of context, right? Turn it into something else. It was really cool. There were some really great entries. Although I think one of my favorites was somebody turned the Galileo shuttlecraft into into the boat from Gilligan's Island. I was dying. It was so fun. Oh my gosh. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 33%. Oh man. All right, Rotten Tomatoes. I guarantee you, Iridium, every one of those 33% was because in the realm of bad movies, that one is exquisite. It is absolutely a work of art. Actually, Stephanie hasn't seen Star Crash yet. I'm almost afraid to show it to her. Da, 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 da. Okay, so these are really being tricky, and I'm being particularly aggressive here on an area. I don't think I should do that. I'm gonna do it this way and get this bit off of here. Can you even see what I'm doing? Okay, I want to make sure that I'm still in view here. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 33%. Okay, yeah. You just corrected the. Okay, cool. Oh, that was good. I actually did skip this blade across my finger. So we're on the blood watch now, folks. Let's see if it gets me. Nah, my hands are now completely immune because well, we have 20 cats and you know, a mere X-Acto blade means nothing to me. Ha 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 ha. All right, let me get rid of this chunky side bit on here. When you have 20 cats, you will not feel pain from something as minor as a number 11 X-Acto blade. That is nothing. God. Is that actually... Ooh, I can't tell. So this is where it gets where I get confused. I think that is sprue. Yes, that is sprue. Okay, cool. Man, that's gonna be hard to get out of there. All right, we're gonna do it again. There we go. There are some things you can do when you're using these knives to not plunge them into your hand, and one thing is, don't put your hand any place near the direction of where the blade is going to go if it skips. Don't jinx it. Oh, gosh. Ginger, you're taking all the fun out of it. Half the fun of this is going to be, when's he going to go? When's he going to do it? When's it going to happen? It's like, everybody keep watching. We're about to learn a valuable lesson. You know, if I make the mistake live on camera, then, you know, then you don't have to. All right, let me get this little, there's a bit there. I know, it's boring as snot. But this is the cleanup stuff that will make building your model earlier. Because I guarantee you, if you leave these stubs on here, there's going to be some piece that absolutely needs to fit flush or something like that, and instead you got like a hunk of styrene sitting there, and it just blocks it all. It's just no good. It's no good. But the fact that I couldn't recognize whether this was like a sprue or if this was actually a detail pretty much tells me that I probably don't need to be too terribly careful. There's another one there. Okay, cool. There we are. There we go. Give that a little sandavoo. There. Ba, ba, ba. There we go. I thank you for letting me complete this part, because honestly, I feel like this was preventing me from feeling like I've actually made progress. If I could get these things kind of... I can at least get these feeling better. There we are. Ah! I still think this was one cool damn ship. You know... In the realm of science fiction shows, I thought this was a pretty neat one. This is going to be tricky. Okay, let's do it this way. Like, it just kind of has that... It has a design aesthetic that I really liked. It looked reasonably real, right? Real? Well, you know, it looked functionally, you know, near future science fiction in a 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of way, right? I mean, that was half the people worked on that show that built stuff like this. In fact, Brian Johnson, he worked with Kubrick's crew on 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's half the reason why Space 1999 has that sort of vague 2001: A Space Odyssey look to it. Some of the previous show he worked on, UFO, was like that too. So, yeah. No, that's not going. This is... Now we're into the space of, if I don't get rid of this, now that I know it's here, every time I look at this model, I'll be like, damn it, I should have sanded it before I put a bunch of pieces on it. Right. Okay. Oh, is that a piece there, or what's going on? Oh, no, that's not a sprue. That's actually nice. Is that one a sprue? Doesn't look like it. Nope. That's actually like a piece of something. Not bad. I honestly couldn't even imagine trying to engineer these to be to come together like this. So usually when you get long pieces like this that have kind of crazy part lines, Yeah, that's going to be nuts. There's a little bit of you know, there's a little bit where the detail here kind of doesn't meet, but that's a quick fix. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Cool. Awesome. That was exciting. All right, let's build some let's build the side engines while we're at this. Shall we, folks? All right, let's just we've got the engine bells for the back. We've got these side wings will go basically like, was it like this? Yeah, basically these are going to go like this somewhere. Oh my gosh, there's another. I found another bit. God, this thing had a ton of these like sprue chunks on here. Okay, hang on. This one I'm gonna hack off this way. There we go. No regrets. You guys were getting paid? Okay, anyway. So yeah, at some point this will attach. I think it attaches. Oh yeah, there we go. It attaches like down here. So these are what hold the side pods on. These things here. They're gonna go something like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we got those. We got the gun things. We got this. Let's see what else we've got left on the list. So we've got to get these the side engine pods in. These little bad boys go on the ends. I'm gonna reserve the thruster assembly and these little bits because they're just so tiny. So we'll do those later. But let's get the bodies together because I think that's actually going to look really good. And then we could do the weapons arms. Missile launchers, which again we never saw, and that'll get us to pretty much to the end of that one right here, and yeah, we're at about 5 o'clock. I think that'll be a good point there. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll finish this page as much as we can. There we go. So all right, engine pods. We have 52 and 51, 52. Let's go grab those. I'm guessing they're right on here. Yeah, it's that one. Okay. So what I kind of like to do, you don't need all of this stuff. So what I'm just going to do is kill this. There we go. Crank all these out of here. I'm starting to get these tracks off of my royalty-free playlist memorized. Here we go. There, so I'm suspecting that, let's see, that's 61, 62. That's the other side. So this is all for one rocket pod thing. We'll just do that. Okay, wrong way. So let me know if is this like a boring live stream to do? Should I save this for like the paint phase of these models, or is this reasonably exciting just for a Friday afternoon chill out? That's kind of where I want to go. Sometimes I think building a model like this is kind of a solo adventure, not quite as exciting to watch. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Because we don't have to do models, but they're fun. All right. Now, a lot of people will just chuck this. I kind of do. But if you ever need to like melt some plastic for, you know, to fix up your model, it's good to keep those handy. All right. Get a little cleanup going there. This was nicely done because they Cool. Oop. This one's a little more on the obvious side. Honestly, do what makes you happy. Okay, cool. I often put lives on the background. Okay, awesome. Hey, Iridium, thanks for joining today. Have a great afternoon. I appreciate it. Painting is more fun for me, but I would prioritize fun for you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of like, thank you. I kind of like switching it up a little bit. Like sometimes I just have, you know, the well is dry that week in terms of like painting, which is a little unfortunate. And that can happen for a number of reasons. Like if I'm coming off of a couple of commissions or some pretty crazy a pretty crazy week of doing other painting, sometimes I'm just like painting is just not gonna happen. Like you've just tapped. I'm tapped. But this kind of thing helps out too. Plus, kind of digging the idea of trying a few different things. All right, let's get. Let me make sure these two go together in the right way. Yeah, there we go. So basically, these go together. These go together in the proper way, in the proper fashion. There we go. Yeah. Oh, that's got a really weird fit to it. There's like not much to go on there. Okay, well, we can work with that. All right, I'm going to do this one first. Instead of pins, this one has kind of little ledges in here. So we're just going to, we'll load all this up. So in the interim, since January, I've actually worked on two separate models. One of them is completely finished. One of them is still in progress. The completely finished one is going to be the subject of my next YouTube video. So that's just a matter of finishing editing the damn thing. Adding the remaining, what do you call it? Adding the remaining narration. And should be good to go. And it's not a spaceship. It is not a spaceship. No, it is absolutely not a spaceship. Ah! But yeah, there's been a lot of moving parts going on here in the studio. So some of my side projects, which that technically qualifies as, are have been on the back burner a little bit. So there we go. All right, there we are. Nice. I'm kind of there's some play here in these parts, and you could take advantage of that. Drop in a little extra glue behind. I have access to the back end of it, and let that sort of sit in there a little bit. Give it a good squeeze. That should set up nicely. Cool. All right, we're going to do the same thing here. Let's see. So this actually has registration marks there and there. And let's see. Actually, there. So I'm going to give this one a little... This is a very minor... I'm just going to give it a light sanding. Just to scuff it a little bit along the contact point. I think I'm going to do the same thing here, right along the ridge. There we go. This will, again, the surfaces on these are pretty smooth, so this will introduce some very minor scratches, which will actually help help the glue hold it all together. So, oh, wrong way. There we go. All right. So for this one, I'm going to put some glue on the inside here. Run the glue cement. And you gotta kind of work fast on these larger parts because this stuff does evaporate like crazy. But I don't mind getting some down first. Get some of these holes here too, because it softens up the plastic a little bit before you actually get the thing together, and that's kind of nice. Oh, I got a bit of black in there. Something else. There we go. Okay, we want this to go there like that. There we are. Yep. All right, now we got them together, and already some of this is cleared up. What I'm going to do is, there's a little gap in there. I don't know if it's easy to see or not. I'm just going to touch it with the liquid cement, and through capillary action, it's going to run all along the length of this. And then you give it a squish. There we go. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite parts right there. There we go. And you can get it aligned nicely. You get a little bit of the cement or the liquid plastic squeezing out, and that's going to be helpful to us when we get to the stage of sanding it. And I'll do the same thing to the other side. You try your best not to pull it up like that. I should be using a better applicator than this, but why? Same thing there. There we go. And, if you're feeling so inclined, you can clamp these things. Oh, look, this one didn't stay. There we go. Might have to clamp this one. Clamp or tape, either way. I actually have some clamps right here. That. Mr. Clamps. There we go. Gently. There we go. Check the alignment. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Drop this back there. You just don't want this coming apart. All right. And I'll leave that one alone. I gotta let these dry before I put these in. Otherwise, I risk popping those apart. Let's get to the next one here. All right. Oh, I got to do this all again? Are you kidding me? Yes. Whoop. I did that already? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. It's a little tedious and repetitive at some of this, and I realize that isn't quite as fun to watch. But, yeah, we'll get there. Like, just kind of having the hangout's been nice. We'll come back and do some painting next time. I will get back onto that as well. Actually, before the live stream today, I had a very nice visit. There's a professional photographer that's been hired as part of a program I'm involved with here in rural Pennsylvania. Which I actually found out just before the end of the year. And I'm very happy to have gotten in on this. The whole point of this program is a business development courses for basically artists and other creative types. They come in with a bunch of grant money, that has already been allocated and hasn't been stolen yet. Um, and they help a bunch of creative types. And I've been in with a group of about 30 people, 20 or 30 people, and we're one of about 4 different groups of the same size, which is really great. So they're helping people do things like develop business plans, um, uh, setting up legal structures, marketing, all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. Now, some of it is a little bit of a review because Stephanie and I have had businesses before. We understand tax structures and that kind of thing, but there might be grants involved for some stuff later on, which is really great, or opportunities to meet people who would invest in this kind of thing. So it's a good opportunity. But what I got to do today as part of this program is they sent people into everybody's studios or outdoors, if you were so inclined. I had them come to my studio, and we had a photo shoot. So part of the reason why I kind of cleaned up some of what's going on here was you got to make it presentable a little bit. So that was actually kind of fun. A lot of like, ooh, here's Chris painting, here's Chris at the easel kind of thing. It's pretty cool. I've never, sure, I can set my camera up and do that, but it's always better, I think, when you have a chance with somebody that knows what they're doing to come in and, kind of run the thing out. So kind of looking forward to seeing those. I got to peek at a few of the in-progress photos, and Bobby, who came from the studio, did a good job. Looking forward to it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Wow, 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 wow. All right, and I forgot. I'm going to do these guys too. I think I'm going to get this to a part and get this to a point, and I think I'm going to call the stream after these engine bells. I'm kind of feeling like I need a break. That's the way I go on this, right? That's the way my Fridays go sometimes. Okay, cool. Let's get this one first. This way. There we go. We'll test fit. There. And yeah, I there we are. Couple of those. This sounds like Season 2 Space 1999. Oh wait, I just said there was no Season 2 of Space 1999. There was a Season 2 of Space 1999, and it does have some redeeming qualities. However, was not my favorite. I was a very disappointed 11-year-old when that came out. 12? 11 or 12? 11. Like, that's not my show. That's not the show I just, completely went apeshit over last year. What the F? Who does this? And the answer is Fred Freeberger from Star Trek Season 3. Boy, when I become YouTube partner for real, you too can face hours of this kind of material. Nerding out about stuff that happened 40 years ago. It doesn't really matter. It did matter. It's important. Look, I was a disappointed kid. Okay, there we go. In the interest of over gluing my parts, I'm going to do that. And then, I don't have a little stubby thing on this. That's okay. Look at this. There we are. And clamped. There we go. Now let's get these two bad boas together here. Easy peasy. Oh, I just dripped some. Okay, cool. Oh, here's a funny story. Stephanie and I, we keep looking out for shows that we want to watch, and the one that has been coming up over and over again, we really wanted to watch the 1981 movie The Thing, the John Carpenter movie with Kurt Russell, right? I actually haven't seen it in a while, and I don't own it, which is a tragedy on its own. So we're looking for movies like, we want to watch The Thing. It's not free. God damn it. Okay, fine. Let's rent it. Fine. We'll pay the $3 to rent it. Okay. It's $3 to rent, but $7 to own it. Okay, fine. We'll drop the $7. We own it. We watched The Thing. We spent a year looking for this thing. It's our own personal rule. If we don't have to buy a movie or buy a service to watch a movie, we won't, right? It was good. I haven't seen it in a while. I really like The Thing. It's a great movie, honestly. Special effects are hideous to look at, but it's still cool. The very next week, The Thing by John Carpenter, 1981, shows up on Tubi. Free. Ah! So annoyed. Anyway. All right, folks. Let's do a little recap here what we did. All right, so we've got ourselves this the Hawk body. We've got a couple of engine bells here for the very ends with the little wings that go along with it. I'll try to move this to a point where it can be seen. These are caps that go on the fronts. We've got some weapons pods that will go basically right here. We do have this thing that goes inside, but I'm not going to put that in right now. And then we have a couple of engines right there. We have the engines. I'm just going to lean those there. All right. Hey, that's a pretty good start on a model. Honestly, that's a pretty good. That's a couple of hours with me blabbing around, and we got a pretty good start on it. Maybe I'll get this to a point where I get it primed. We'll get some pieces in, and we'll have some fun painting it and doing decals. That should be a pretty good time. Yeah. Awesome. And of course, again, what it will look like when it's all said and done. Yay! Fingers crossed. I didn't call that out earlier, but the box art right here, this was painted by Jamie Hood as well, who again is the project manager. And I got to tell you, Jamie did a killer job on this. This is he's done the artwork for a number of these. Really damn nice illustration. I like it. It's top notch in my book. Really cool. There's a lot of details in this. I think he used acrylics on it too, if I'm not mistaken. So very cool. Bingo. Good job. Love seeing awesome box cover art on models. It's really great. So this kit gets a thumbs up. If you're so inclined, very cool kit. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for me this week. I'm Christopher Dahl. Thank you all for joining and hanging out with me on a Friday afternoon. I appreciate it. Hope you weren't stuck in too many meetings. If you like the show, give it a like. I appreciate it. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. We're going to have more coming up. And yay! We'll be back next week at our usual time. And I'm going to let you go with a view of... I'm going to just kick this one off. with our outro. Hope everyone's doing a good time or having a good time. Everybody take care. We will see you all next week. Cheers, everyone. Let me find it here. Where did it go? Boom.
All right, so I've taken my white paint with my little fan brush here, and let's just see how crazy this goes. This is where I throw paint everywhere. That just kind of gives it an air of legitimacy that it doesn't deserve. You know?
I have Bob Ross the shit out of this painting.
Yow.